Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach, a life coach, and the host of this show, the Take Your Life Back Today show. Everything happens for a reason. You've probably heard that over and over and over again. People say this a lot, but usually without much thought. They don't put any concentration or thought behind it. No one really stops and considers what everything happens for a reason really means. Some credit things like fate or karma or luck or chance, but to say it's God, that is the real reason. For some, that is going too far. Not for me. Why is this happening? People always ask. In Galatians 3:1, King Solomon had written, "To everything there is a season and time to every purpose under the heaven." He added that there is a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, and so on. Folks, knowing there's a specific time for all things to take place, then obviously there's a reason as well. When trials come, one of the first things a person wants to know is, why is this happening? No matter where a person is or what is going on in their lives, there is a purpose for it. One that was designed by God and God only, because He is the reason for everything. Every child of God is where God had placed him or her for some purpose. And the practical use of the first point is to lead you to inquire for what practical purpose God has placed each one of you where you are right now, wherever you're watching me. One purpose for being in a certain place at a certain time would be similar to Christ going to Samaria to talk with the woman at the well. It could be you're meant to be a witness to someone, so God sent you to your own Samaria. A deeper, less obvious reason might have to do with a Christian's current spiritual state. Backsliding, for instance. Or it could be your faith is being tried like Job's had been. Whatever the reason, God is the only one who can reveal the true answer. If He has placed you or a loved one in a difficult situation, even if you don't understand it right now, God's purpose is still being accomplished, even as the question continues to circle in your mind. Folks, there's a saying people use very often. If God brought you to it, He'll bring you through it. He never does anything in part. It's always from the beginning to the end, with Him and with Him only. Trust that He will see you through it all, and believe me, He will. As for God, His way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in Him in Psalms 18:30. And in 2 Samuel 22:31. This is for my good, a lot of people ask. The Paul stated in Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. Folks, for those who are called by God, we have this assurance that whatever our situation might be, not only is there a purpose for it happening, it is also for our good. In some way, whether today or in the days to come, there will be good that follows. It's definitely up to God, because He is the reason for everything. One example would be the story of Elijah and the widowed woman. If you're unfamiliar with the story, you can read more about it in Kings 17. To give a brief summary, this particular woman was in a small town gathering sticks for what she thought would be her last meal for her and her son, my friends. She believed this would be it. She and her son would eat, then lay down to die. What she really didn't know was on the same day she thought was her last day, the Lord was sending help to her by the way of Elijah. See what I'm saying? With the arrival of Elijah came a survival for him, for her, and for her house. And all was done by divine decree. God did the sending, He did the providing, and He did the strengthening. He did something so strong. If the widow hadn't been preparing for her and her son's last meal, she wouldn't have been gathering sticks at the particular spot, at the particular time when Elijah came by. And if she hadn't been there, in that place, and at that time, all that followed wouldn't have been happening. The Lord placed her where she needed to be, and he sent Elijah where he needed to be. All things work together for the good for both of them. My friends, even when you think you're about to eat your last meal, God can intervene and make you never take another meal for granted for the rest of your life. That is what it means to say everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. It's remembering that God is the one with the real plan, not us, not no one else. And it's not fate, and it's definitely not karma. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none, and I mean none, can stay his hand or say unto him, what does it thou? In Daniel 4:35. Folks, through God, all is possible. Call me at 844-405-HELP. Together, we can help each other take our lives back. Be good to yourselves, and just as important, be good to others. Simple smile to a total stranger can change their life as well as yours. Everything happens for a reason, and God is the reason. May God bless you. May God bless this great country in America. And remember, for God to love the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Remember that. May God bless you.